Here is one moment in the Jeff Sessions presser from yesterday. I want you to listen to this, Cliff. Neither one of us are attorneys, as you know. No. So, I don't know. But one of the things that you need as a requisite for perjury is to prove intent to mislead. And I don't know that we have that intent to mislead until you have Jeff Sessions answering the last question. And we have the question here, right? The last question in his presser. Now, folks, got to remember, we played the clip of Jeff Sessions answering Al Franken yesterday. He also, in a subsequent letter to Patrick Leahy, denied any contacts. Now, it's a subsequent letter. Listen to Jeff Sessions as to why he said what he said. He's given the opportunity. Did you just misspeak? Did you forget? And he, the chief law enforcement officer in the country, actually says no. Well, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but listen to what his intent was. He basically decided when he heard about that CNN story that he should not reveal it. Go ahead.
I should not be involved in investigating a campaign I had a role in. One more question and we'll wrap this up.
Two questions, if I may. One, you were already considering recusal before today, is that correct? And secondly, when you answered Senator Franken's question, were you just not thinking of the meeting with the Russian ambassador, or did you not consider it relevant?
I was taken aback a little bit about this brand new information, this allegation that surrogates, and I had been called a surrogate for Donald Trump, had been meeting continuously with Russian officials, and that's what it struck me very hard, and that's what I focused my answer on. And in retrospect, if I should have slowed down and said, but I did meet one Russian official a couple of times, that would be the ambassador. Thank you all. Take care.
Now, that to me seems to be ample evidence of his intent. I heard this information, I was taken aback, and it struck me hard. So that's what I focused my answer on. In other words, I answered based upon new information that I heard and avoided telling the truth. And he says...
Right. I lied because I heard that all these people had been meeting with him and I could have gotten in trouble.
Yeah. And then he
I
says...
don't understand. How do you see that as anything else besides... I mean, that's the worst part of these guys. It's not just liars. They're really bad at it.
And let's not forget that when he says I should have slowed down and answered it in a better way, how fast was he going when he and his lawyers were sitting there answering this questionnaire from Patrick Leahy when he wrote an unequivocal no as to whether or not he had met with any Russian officials? I mean, this is just absurd. It's just absurd. The guy should be...
That's what I mean. I mean, it's I mean, I don't want to get into the cover-up worse than the crime, the whatever, but in this particular case, it is their body language, it's the things they're saying, it's how uncomfortable they are with all of this that makes it so obvious. Again, there would be legitimate reasons for someone like Jeff Sessions to meet with the Russian ambassador with what he does. There would be. You'd have a harder time telling me there's legitimate reasons for Jared Kushner to be doing that. But there were some legitimate reasons for some of these guys. But they even lie about what could potentially have been explainable, and then they change their lies, and then they get caught, and then they look weird in the way they react. I mean, I'm sorry. There's just, I mean, when you connect, you'd have to just be, when I see some of these people who are trying to dismiss this stuff online, and they're mostly on the right, but there's a couple on the left too, like, you just have to want to be willfully blind at this point.
Well, I can't.
Because there's too much, I mean, again, well, I'm not saying I'm sitting here in a treasure trove of information and I can connect point A to B and convict in a court of law. I'm just saying to say that there shouldn't be at this point an independent investigation is ridiculous, especially considering what we've had independent investigations about.
What I think is what I am just starting to get, and I have really nothing to base this on other than that bizarre interview that Carter Page gave last night on Chris Hayes' program, is that I can't help but thinking like these folks. I mean, look, the fact that the Russian ambassador took that moment to go meet with that guy as opposed to anybody else on that committee just seems super odd. And it's not like, let's be clear, it's not like Jeff Sessions had a history of being soft on Russia. I mean, this guy was as Russia-phobic as anybody, it seems to me.
I mean, that timeline's easy, too. There's a bunch of meetings with them, and suddenly he's saying nicer things about Russia.
Well, he's got a relationship with Trump. I mean, so clearly that's why the ambassador went there. And maybe that's the extent of it. Like, he thought that he could start to build a relationship with somebody who was a foreign policy advisor to Trump. But I can't help but think that there's a quality to like what Carter Page was doing on Hayes's last night, where I can't help but think that like they're saying to themselves, like, we didn't get involved in this DNC hack at all. All we have is another illicit deal, and we're getting blamed for the wrong thing.
I know,
and
exactly.
that's why the lies have less to do with what I think people are pursuing. I think they have to do with something else. Hey everybody, Sam Seder here.
Donald Trump is a bad guy. Believe me. It's true.
It is true, and you can subscribe to this channel by subscribing to this channel. It's true.